Hello everyone, I'm the Unyielding, your host, back again with another video. Today we are doing the Duelist guide. Now this is going to be obviously part of a 10-part series, first episode, where we are going to be going over each class IRONLIGHTS has to offer, going through how to play it, all its little tips and tricks, all that good stuff. These are probably going to be around 10 minutes each, so they shouldn't be too long. But, Duelist. That's what we're going to start with. Duelist, flashily nimble fighter with a swift, sharp sword. That rapier is one of the fastest weapons in the game here. Of course, it's got an easy play difficulty with a rapier and a buckler. So, let's hop into training. As you can see, you have your main weapon, your rapier, and your small side buckler. Now, we already have a basics guide and an advanced guide on the channel, so if you don't know how to do figure eights or any of that stuff, then I would recommend going to go watch that first. Duelist's range attack. Press the trigger, push forwards, you got your thing. I would typically use this in 2 to 3 bursts, either 1 to 3 shots per is usually what you want to strive for. Duelist's range attack is a big part of its kit. It is incredibly good at harassing enemies. It's a low energy, very efficient, quick option, very spammable to force them to charge so that you can rush in, or force them to come into you so they lose their energy. So, how do we utilize this range attack well? So, when you use a range attack, see you can aim it directionally like this. So, push forward, drag it to the side, gives you a good option there. Drag the card there, you get 3 different spots. You can also flick it around in a circle to displace some of those range attacks. You can also click and push in one smooth motion, so click, push, go. Those are really good for spacing out your range attacks, keeping them far apart. Now let's talk about offense. Offense-wise, I typically do for rapier, make sure when you hit your opponent, your sword should be coming in and hitting them at an angle like this, somewhere around 45 degrees. As you can see, Duelist attacks incredibly quickly. So, when you're going in like this, you're hooking around your opponent's defense. You want to get around, you don't want to come in flat. That detracts from your time and makes your sword easier to block. Say if I was trying to do something like this, just flat, it's going to be slow. But if I hook it in, it becomes a lot faster. So, as far as offense goes, remember, hit your shots, feints, very large part of Duelist. Duelist has many feints it can use. You can use quick feints like this, something to just mix up into your combos, like so. Or you have your larger feints. Even feints like this will work incredibly well. Just bringing your sword around their entire body. Bring it up, hit the shoulders, hit the head, doesn't really matter. These big feints work wonders. You can stop halfway, move over here, anything like that'll work. Duelist is very heavily reliant on feints, mixing them in to your offense. As you might have seen, what I was doing there was a little bit of voodoo. Voodoo, incredibly good on Duelist. As you can see, it can get a large amount of hits in very quickly. I did cover how to do it basically in the advanced techniques video. However, I'll cover it again here really quickly. What you're doing, looking for a quick rolling bobbing motion. You want this to hit as close to them as possible, be as close to you, so that you can get the maximum refresh rate. Don't bring it back too far. You want this to be nice and compact, like so. You want it to be very nice and compact. You're not going to get a lot of these big hooking angles around your opponent when you're doing it. So, again, general movement. Not moving your wrist too much. More your arm movement. Only moving your wrist to bring it back to that basic stance. Now, defense. We will go ahead and set this guy to hard. When you get something like this, your shield is going to be your backup, almost like carrying dagger on Dragoon. Your rapier is your main line of defense. With rapier, because of its fast speed, active guard is incredibly good, which is just actively looking for where your opponent's blade's going to be and trying to attack it there. Now, you've got your basic stuff like standing guard like this. You can see I'm pushing it to the sides, using my shield for the lower section here as a sort of backup. Or I can do this form of standing guard. All these guards have been covered in the basic video, by the way. This standing guard is quite good, as it will give you head protection from here with your shield, and lower protection with your rapier. This is good for your one-bladed classes like Samurai or Duelist Dragoon. Though for Dragoon, you may want to do standing. Of course, you got your horizontal, or your vertical attacks. Duelist will typically be more standing and horizontal for your guards, with more active guard than not. So, really prioritize that. When you have a class like Knight coming at you with melee attacks, what you want to do, hit their sword with your rapier first, then your shield. If you hit it with just your shield, you see how fast it's going down? You need to hit it with your rapier so that it depletes much slower. You don't want your shield getting shredded by a Knight player. Now, as far as dodging goes, Duelist, it's mostly required due to its defense, so you may have to dodge a lot more than you typically would with other classes. So that can be either sidestepping, jumping, ducking, anything like that, just to make blocking easier and to avoid a small hit. We'll go over some quick tips and tricks about Duelist, nothing too complex. Duelist magic is applicable to the range attacks. Magic is a term specifically used for Duelist. You see Duelist has this lingering hitbox, say I hold it down and push to the side, see if this places. So, using that, we hold our sword vertically, pull up, and then push forwards. Magic. Same concept goes for this. Hold your sword straight, spin in a circle, and push. This isn't too crazy effective in an actual match, unfortunately. However, it is good for catching your opponent off guard if you have the time, usually with something quicker like this, if their energy regen isn't too crazy. The only reason you would do this is to force your opponent to attack you. It's not too good at getting them otherwise. So, let's say you were doing this, you would see this disappear when they charge towards you. and I'll try and do this. So you see it disappear, turn around, and start defense. Good way of baiting out your opponent's attacks. Now, because of Duelist low damage, you want to be utilizing your range attacks a lot. And you especially want to be watching for their vulnerability. If they have vulnerability, go in on it. Duelist is low damage, so it can profit off of that vulnerability like crazy, getting really good hits off. So, we're just going to go demonstrate an actual match real quick. Let's go ahead and just say we will fight this spot here real quick. Again, I will fight them in the advanced video, but we'll fight them here too. And remember, especially when you're starting these classes, you want to charge up at the start of the match. No downside to it. With Duelist, you can afford to use some range attacks at the start. As you see, I'm going for those big headshots with those hooks. We're defending here a lot, so we can feint to this side and try and open something up. Oh yeah, something I didn't cover, guard breaks. On my next attack, I will cover guard breaks. Something like what you just did there. Essentially, what I'm going to do is bait out their guard. You will tap it, bending forward a little bit, and then swing it to the gun. I'm demonstrating right here. Tap hit. Tap hit. Tap swing hit. Pursuing the burst I was talking about. Using some of this horizontal voodoo towards the head is a pretty good strategy. You can see one of the things I did there, swung up, twirled around for a little flourishing hit. That one works quite well. Just do a slight spin as a follow-up. See here. Again, hit up. And basically what you're doing is you're swinging, bring the sword back up here, so you'll flick it around towards their head. Other than that, that should be all I have for today's video. Like and subscribe, of course. That's how I get my content out to people. Share it if you know someone who likes VR. Join the IRONLIGHTS Discord. I'll have it in the description. And of course, I'll be uploading a bunch more guides for this. I'm planning on doing Knight and Reaper next, but I will move on to these other classes in the near future. So, thank you. Again, thank you for watching. I've been your host, the Unyielding. Have a good afternoon or day. Bye. Later.